Hello and welcome back to another episode of Changing Room Thoughts. Actually, the first episode of Changing Room Thoughts this year. Happy 2024. If you're new to my content, Changing Room Thoughts is a podcast for anyone who has ever had a critical thought about the clothes that they put on their body. You don't have to be a fashion industry professional. You very well could be. But this podcast is meant to cover the intersection of fashion, sustainability, technology, economics, etc., etc. So welcome. If you're watching this with your video on, you can tell I have a very special guest. Likely you already know who it is because you clicked on the episode title. Today's guest speaker is the zenith of corporate baddie on top turned fashion tech startup founder. A former Blackstone employee, our esteemed guest speaker today left the $1 trillion asset manager to start Pickle, a peer-to-peer clothing rental app that allows users to rent out their closet to people who live nearby, and favorite of the enterprising fashion girlies nationwide. Born in New York City in 2021, Pickle has more than half of its new users come from other parts of the country. In the sea of startups vying for the all-elusive venture capital funding, she and her co-founder has raised $8 million in funding from Firstmark, Craft Ventures, and others in 2023, a notoriously hard year to raise, giving Pickle a $30 million valuation. And all the more incredible feat, given that only 2% of venture dollars goes to women founders. Fashion nerds, please join me in welcoming the inspiring Forbes 30 Under 30, Julia O'Mara.
Thank you so much for having me, Karina. I'll have to get a copy of that intro. I liked it a lot. Excellent vocabulary in there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I took part of it off of Forbes, but then I was also like, let me infuse a little fashion girly for the
I loved
TikTok,
it. That was perfect.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I am particularly excited about today's episode because this is the perfect intersection of sustainability, fashion, technology, and especially as a corporate girly myself that's very interested in fashion, I'm particularly invested in your journey from your background in a more corporate setting into what you're doing now. That's kind of the dream for, I think, a lot of us.
I love the corporate to startup story, so happy to touch on that for sure. If you haven't heard of Pickle before, it is a peer-to-peer rental marketplace, and we're focused on women's clothes and accessories. It's an amazing way to start a side hustle and list some of your favorite pieces from your closet and rent them out to other women in your community. And then on the flip side, it's a super sustainable and affordable option for renting that cult Gaia dress that you weren't able to maybe splurge on, even though you might have wanted to. So that's the high level about it, but excited to dive into other questions.
So to get us warmed up a little bit, I have a little mystery box of fashion hot seat questions, and I will let our guest pick one.
Most worn piece in your wardrobe? Probably the pair of Jeffrey Campbell boots that I'm wearing right now. I've had them for 2 years and I wear them at least twice a week.
Oh, wait, can I take a peek?
They're just these chunky for the audience.
Nice. Wait, I love a good, like, it's a chunky heel so you can walk without the heel getting stuck in a grate. Yeah. You know what I mean? Gives a little height. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Do you want to do another one?
Sure, we can do another one. It's
sure.
Fun. Okay. A little bit hard to open. Let's see. Tell us a story about an outfit you regret wearing. Oh, I went to this concert, a purple disco concert, if anybody knows them. They're like kind of EDM rave, but they're really fun, pop disco-ish, whatever. And I bought this horrible purple sequins matching set off of Princess Polly's. It was so itchy. So the entire night I was just thinking about how uncomfortable I was while I was at the concert. So major regrets there, and that immediately came to mind when I saw this.
That is such a good answer. Hot girls stay comfortable. I just returned a dress that was fully sequined because it kept rubbing me on the neck, and
it chafes you.
Yeah, the rash is never worth it.
No, not worth it.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for giving us those answers. How fun and relatable. Okay, one last fashion hot seat question.
Okay. What is your fashion guilty pleasure? Pickle. I am a very traditional outfit and shopping procrastinator, so I often am in a quite literal outfit pickle and won't have something to wear, so I'm always using our very convenient courier service so I can get outfits super last minute delivered the same day from other women in New York. My favorite example of this was for my sister's wedding. I hadn't picked out my dress yet for her rehearsal dinner, and it was the day before we were leaving, and my sister said, "Oh, can you send me a picture of your dress? I'd love to see it." I was like, okay. I just got on Pickle and I was looking at all these options, and I got it the morning before I was leaving for her wedding, and it was beautiful and I loved it. One of my favorite dresses.
Wow, that's crazy. I kept hearing that on social media, like, oh, you can get it the same day. And I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Because here I am planning my ski outfit a month in advance. Now that we're a little bit warmed up and, you know, the audience is a little bit, they're aware of who you are in terms of your titles and your accomplishments. But tell me a little bit more about like the Julia before Pickle, the Julia that created Pickle. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So I used to be in corporate America, which was quite the experience. I mean, an amazing experience right out of college. And I absolutely loved working at Blackstone. I was a product manager there, did a lot of different business analytics, data visualization. And it's where I met my co-founder, Brian, which was amazing. And we had a lot in common around our interest in data analytics. We also both played a sport in college. And I think we had a lot of similar work ethics and values around how to work hard and everything. So worked really well together there. We worked on some interesting projects that were helpful for the investing and fundraising teams at Blackstone. And it was cool to see the way that they were able to utilize some of the data sets that we would pull together to actually make better investment decisions. And when they were prospecting for new funds that they were raising, they were actually using our tools. So that was impactful and interesting. But Brian and I ended up working on Pickle and the idea of Pickle towards the end of our time at Blackstone. And the original version of Pickle, we have to refer to it as Pickle 1.0, was different than the rental marketplace that we have today. It was around social polling, actually. And the goal was to help people make better purchase decisions. So we would create these communities of people that had similar style preferences on the app, and people were able to then post a poll where they could get feedback about what they might want to buy. So if you were in the market for a new dress, a new suit, new pair of shoes, you could post a poll that says, should I buy this option, or this option? And that version of Pickle led us to some insights that led us to the pivot to our current version. But what we saw was people using those polls were commenting in those features and were recommending items that they already owned. They were saying, this is the best brand, this fits me really well, it's super sustainable, it's super comfortable. And there was a lot of conviction behind the community closet sharing. And people were even commenting, oh, you could borrow this from me if you want it. So that gave us some insights into the peer-to-peer rental marketplace. And we really saw an opportunity to break down the barriers and allow people to share their clothes in their closets and eventually sharing things, all kinds of things in their homes, which will be really cool. And so then we pivoted over to Pickle 2.0. But that's kind of the high level background of the story. I don't know if you have other questions about before Pickle, because I dove right into it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I didn't know that you had a background in like data analytics. That's really cool. And that kind of makes sense given the natural progression of Pickle starting off as kind of social polling because it's very data rich. You can do a lot with those insights. But I am kind of curious if you and your co-founder Brian, you both did data analytics. Was Pickle 1.0 social polling about fashion specifically or just anything?
Our very first idea or kind of example that we really kind of bonded over was the fact that we were very bad at making purchases, that we would kind of dwell over them or need a lot of different opinions or have a lot of, hesitation before purchasing something. So we were talking about that, or we were always asking for other people's opinions, and we thought it'd be better to streamline it, crowdsource, and essentially de-risk your purchase. So our first example was around, I think, a pair of shoes that Brian was thinking about purchasing was really those were in our early day Figma mock-ups of Pickle poll. We used to have specific polls there. So we had a lot of those. The fashion community was definitely our largest and most engaged community on the platform. We did have some other communities that were polling around other subjects. So some people had some polls around dating and sports and things like that. The most engagement was in the purchase area, and that was what we had really thought of as the original and most prominent use case of the platform. Saw the usage there, had the conviction in the way that users were actually using the platform, and then pivoted from there.
Interesting. When you started this whole journey, did you ever think that like, oh, I'm gonna run a fashion company?
No. The long story short is no, but I think that, and it's even funnier to think about Brian running a fashion company. It's when he talks about it of his family and friends. You're running a fashion company or a fashion tech company. I mean, the idea is that Pickle's grander vision is going to allow people to share anything in their closets and in their homes. So we see it far beyond just fashion, but right now it is definitely an interesting place to be, considering neither of us have fashion backgrounds. And that's, I think, really interesting about our story. But I also think that makes us really strong founders, because the only way that we can build a really strong product is by listening to our end users and customers. And so that's how we've gotten to Pickle as a marketplace and all of the features that we've been building and rolling out since pivoting.
That's an excellent answer. I think it's especially interesting that you guys guys don't have a background in fashion because I think that's what fashion needs. I think fashion needs more people that are intersectional and have experiences in business and technology, data analytics, that are able to serve solutions to customers who are asking for it. I oftentimes think that there's kind of like a disconnect between the everyday person and their interactions and relationship with fashion and like Vogue, which is incredibly aspirational, but not necessarily accessible or relatable or really solving a need for a majority of people who have to figure out what to put on their bodies every day.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Pickle democratizes fashion in that sense and makes it super accessible because one, rentals are affordable, two, it's a circular economy, so you can make money off of the pieces that you own and everything. But me, who doesn't have any fashion background, the amount of things that I've learned from just being an active user on the platform and the way that it's helped shape some of my personal style and my ability to try out new trends without turning to fast fashion has been incredibly powerful just for me, but we see that across our community and the engagement amongst our customers.
Yeah, that kind of leads me to my next question, which is naturally when you start a startup, no one really knows how it's going to go and you kind of learn a lot on the way. Maybe it is about your personal style, maybe it's things about your user base that you didn't expect. But what about being a founder specifically in fashion technology is something that you think not that many people know or would expect?
It definitely still comes back to the fact that every person I talk to, if they haven't met me before or asking about how I got started, are absolutely shocked that I don't have a fashion background or very different background in kind of the tech side of finance world or corporate America. And I always go back to how it's so important when you're starting a company and building an app to be incredibly data driven and really listen to your users and customers. And it's said that when you're building an app, it's really interesting because there are a lot of things that you want to make perfect and you want to test them and you want to roll it out with maybe some beta users. But if you work and build for too long to make it that 100% perfection, you are wasting a ton of time because the only way you can actually learn if it's going to work is rolling it out into the market and then getting true usage amongst real users and consumers. There have been so many features that we've tried to roll out or have had super high conviction on and assumed that they would get really early adoption, and then maybe they didn't. And it was great that we had rolled it out at an 80% place instead of making it that 100% because we were able to learn from that. And then we've had features that we didn't even market and they were widely adopted in the first day that we rolled them out. So
can you give an example which features were a hit and which ones might have been a myth?
I'll do the first one of the hit. So we have an interesting spot on the platform that we've actually been enhancing, and I can talk about that too. And it's called the Looking For tab. And it's a place where people are able to go and specifically tell the community about an item, an outfit, or outfit ideas that they're looking for. So an example would be, I have a girls' weekend in Miami and I'm looking for some really cute mini dresses for going out to the clubs. People will post that out to the community, provide some details about their style preferences or their size, colors they might be interested in. They'll also include some photos for inspiration, and then owners on the platform are able to then serve items that match these requirements. And it's a really interesting way to match that supply and demand. So people are obviously motivated to provide these great recommendations to the people that are saying, hi, I need a mini dress. That was a feature we rolled out really quickly because we had a lot of conviction on it. Didn't do a great job with the way that you should do a product release, a new feature release, or market it properly, but it was used from day one right away. And it's something that has been on our platform for a very long time and has given us additional conviction in something that we more recently rolled out called Pickle Styling AI. And it's kind of a build on from that Looking For feature where you're able to upload a photo and get similar matches directly served to you from Pickle.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
So you take an image and you think about maybe a celebrity inspo person. You look at Hailey Bieber's outfits or Alex Earl or something. You screenshot their outfits from Instagram, and Pickle, this AI stylist, will help you find items that are either exactly that same piece or very similar. So it's almost AI built into a little Pinterest inspo board, and then put AI on top of it and get a bunch of recs.
That's pretty cool because then also over time you can kind of learn the preferences of people. And one thing I find really impressive that you guys are doing is coming up with all these creative solutions to better connect connect the supply and demand side of that platform, because I actually used to work at a fintech company that was in the alternative asset space and physical assets, and they were also a marketplace.
Okay.
Marketplace startups are really hard to get right. It's really hard. And I remember I first met Julia through this Threads of Tech panel discussion, and she was talking about the challenge of getting supply on the platform first so you can then have demand to buy the clothes, because if there's nothing on the platform, who's going to sign up to use it? It's a constant balancing act to get supply and demand to meet where they should be. You guys have come up with creative solutions, the looking for tab, ways for the community to come together. I feel like companies overuse the term community so much, but it really does feel like that on Pickle. I actually used it the other day. I was I'm going to a ski trip in the Dolomite, the Italian Alps.
Yeah.
And I was looking for one of those one-piece ski suits.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm looking for like some ski blah, blah, blah. And within a day, I got some responses, which I was impressed by, because at first I was a little skeptical. I was like, who's going to respond to this? Like, who's going to see this? And yeah, it's in the owner's best interest to be active on that side of the platform, because then they can actually monetize their closets effectively.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a great use case that you bring up. There are a lot of people that are interested in renting ski wear right now, and it's a great example because not everybody is skiing every weekend, and a lot of our users are in New York City, and it's not as easy to go skiing. So
and it's expensive.
It's expensive to go skiing. So when you see an amazing perfect moment or Cordova jumpsuit that you want to wear, it's $1,600, and you're like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to get enough use out of it, but you could rent it for 10% on Pickle. People are doing that, and it's a great way to incorporate also that fashion into skiing. We see that, and I've been a skier before, and been a lifelong skier, and I've always had the same outfits every year, and I've never gotten excited about my ski outfits. And then last year I was able to rent a really cute new pink jacket, and I was so excited about it because I had never changed my outfits before for it. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, because changing your outfit is a grand. The ski pants and then all the gear and the jacket. These things are not cheap.
No.
So yeah, that's one really great use case. And also occasion wear. That's, I think, the biggest thing I find, especially as an owner trying to rent things out. That's the thing I would want to rent out the most, because it's special. I only use it once or twice. When you rent it, you only get photographed in it once or twice, right?
Yeah, when we think about our owners, it's interesting because there's almost two ideal customer profiles that we think about for our owners, not to get too nerdy into the business talk, but
no, let's go there.
We think about the girls that are kind of in the trendsetter, fashionista. They're huge shoppers. They're always looking to stay on top of the trends, but they do invest in some of these quality pieces, and they have these very full closets. They are power owners on Pickle. They are making lots of money. We have girls that are paying for their New York rent from their Pickle income, which is insane to me.
That's insane.
And that's not me. You know, I'm a renter. I don't have that great of a closet because I just wear everyone else's clothes, but it's really cool to see that. And so that's an interesting way for people to be using the platform, and they're having this great side hustle. It's a huge passion hobby for them too. But then thinking about people that not everybody is spending that much time shopping or investing in their closets. There's people that have the occasion wear or the wedding guest dresses, the ski apparel that they've invested in, the really cute mini dress that they wore to New Year's Eve, and they're able to now monetize those pieces, and nobody's walking across $50 on the street. That's, you know, a few drinks for the night. And so it's great that it's very accessible for anybody to be an owner. It doesn't need to be somebody that is an influencer or has a crazy closet. It could be, you know, you invested in 3 quality pieces that you love. You can't wear them all the time, but you're able to kind of share them and monetize them with the community.
Yeah, and speaking of these power users on Pickle that are able to monetize their beautiful designer wardrobes, something that I find really interesting is how you guys have worked with influencers before. Because obviously from a value proposition perspective as a renter, I'm like, oh, I can try parts of Lauren Wolf's closet? That's kind of crazy. And there have been a lot of other influencers slash celebrities that have used Pickle, right?
Yeah, it's been really interesting to navigate the creator economy and partnering with influencers. And we are very strategic with our partnerships with influencers because the value prop for them is this is a great way to monetize some of the pieces that they've worn, they've taken photos in, but they're not able to wear all the time, or they're looking to, you know, wear something else, which I can touch on. But it's been cool to partner with them. You know, we have some amazing or more well-known New York influencers on there. Lauren Wolf, Kit Keenan. We just got Remy Bader's closet on Pickle. We were so excited about that. And and we have a lot of interesting strategies coming up for her closet. But these women have been great to work with, and they're very focused on empowering other people to be able to share their wardrobes. For them, the call to action amongst followers and their audience is, hey, I'm sharing my pieces. So when you see something that you love from my Instagram, it's now accessible and affordable at 10% of the price, 10 to 20%. And previously, the option would be, here's the link to, retrofit, which might have $700 retail price, which for some people, it's an amazing investment. They can do that. And other people, they can make that rental for $80 to $100 instead. And that's been cool. But we didn't start with all of these prominent names. We started with the nano and micro influencers of New York, the girls that, do the Soho photos and the get ready with me and everything. And those were people that we early days really reached out to and said, hey, we have this idea of building this great community and a way to share your clothes and them. But that's the challenge with a marketplace, right? You cannot tell people to come rent until there are items for people to rent. That's the challenge of building up that supply and demand.
Do you mind if I talk about the strategy behind not paying influencers?
Yes. So that's something that we've talked about before. And one, when we first started Pickle, we had zero marketing budget, right? So we did obviously just do some fundraising, but at that point, there was no way we could ever consider paying influencers. So we had to think about ways that we could make sure that we were providing enough value that they would find this strategic partnership valuable for them as well. But we worked with them on different, Instagram assets and photo shoots and things that they could use content for both their Pickle profiles as well as their Instagram profiles. And that was really helpful to build kind of the base. And we were targeting people that had closets that people, they're following them because they love their fashion and their style. Yeah. And so for them, when they were sharing their closet, it was easy to say, everything that's on my Instagram, you can shop and you can borrow it. You don't have to purchase it full price if you don't think you're going to wear it that often. But here's an option to rent and here's an option to buy. And it was really accessible for their followers. Of course, there's the monetary benefit of renting out pieces. It was also a great way for them to engage with their community and their followers. People really responded well to them listing their closets and everything. But we've avoided true paid partnerships. It's very difficult to build a long-term relationship that's super transactional like that. So we actively made a decision that we wouldn't be doing that early on, especially because we didn't have the budget. But as we have raised additional capital and our budget has increased, we haven't proportionally increased our marketing budget. Our marketing budget is still very lean, and we like to work on these strategic partnerships and organic content, encouraging UGC and asking our audience and our customers to share their experience about Pickle as our primary driver of growth. And the influencer partners that we still work with and everything, it's focused on empowering their closet and helping them if they're looking for insights into certain brands that might do really well on the platform. So we can add some insights and different data pieces for them and additional value that way, but we have still remained very, very lean with our marketing budget.
Yeah. So I was very curious about this because I saw a lot of content about Pickle on TikTok, and I had assumed that it was paid partnership because when you're on social media and you see lots of content that's in collaboration with a brand or a company, that's kind of what you assume.
Right.
So when I heard you talk about this at this Tech Talk forum, I was like, that's crazy how much growth you guys have achieved without paying influencers, which is honestly the way to go. It's as an influencer, I'm saying this, but because people can sniff an ad from a mile away, and when they can tell that it's paid placement that doesn't feel genuine, it turns them off from the product. So I think the way you guys approached it was really smart, and also ensured that finding product market fit was paramount above all else, above
Absolutely.
growth. And I'm a big believer in being scalable and profitable and focusing on the bottom line from the very beginning, because I've worked at fast-paced, high-growth startups before, and when you focus on growth over all else and you lose profitability from the get-go, that's when we have a WeWork situation.
At the end of the day, we can talk about all of our organic strategy across our social media and promoting at UGC and everything, but at the end of the day, it's about the product and the customer experience, because if someone is trying Pickle and using it to rent an item or share their clothes, that experience is what actually makes us grow as a company, because they're the first ones to tell their friend, oh yeah, I ordered a dress for my birthday and it didn't come, and I needed something in 2 hours before my birthday party, and I used Pickle to solve that problem. That's a really interesting moment where people are able to share that with their friends, their family, their other girlfriends, their social media followers, and that's organic and that's great, but that leads back to that amazing experience that we work on building within the product. And it's same on the owner owner side, right? When you are listing your items and you are, making a little extra cash, or you got your first rental, it's this amazing moment where you're like, I have these assets sitting in my closet and I can't wear them all the time. And if I'm able to share them or monetize them, I can use that money for something else, or my drinks are free for the night, or I can afford that expensive coffee, or, whatever it might be. And they'll tell their friends about that as well.
Yeah. Girl math.
It's the girl math.
It's the girl math.
Yeah.
The undeniable value proposition of girl math when it comes to fashion.
I'm using the excuse to go purchase something because I know that I'll be able to rent it out at least twice. So now it's 60% off. And the value of me wearing it once is definitely 40% of this retail value. So done.
Yeah, it was free.
Then it's basically free.
I would be stupid not to buy this right now. I actually had a girlfriend. She had just gotten done with a big shopping spree across Europe. She spent a bag. She got 2 new designer bags, and then she came back. She was like, oh my God, Karina, I just made this Instagram page where I'm going to try and sell all this stuff. And I was looking at it, and I recently have started using Pickle, and something I try to decide is this worth renting, or should I just try and sell or donate it? And something that I find interesting is consumer behavior has kind of shifted to buying more quality pieces when you think about how much rental income you can make. Because I was looking at her closet and I was like, she could rent this all out. This is like Coperni, Revolve. Oh, she had like Telfar, like high value items that other people would be interested in trying. Because like I've looked at some of the things that I've had and I'm like, okay, I could rent this because it's a nice piece that I would feel proud of letting other people experience, versus this kind of $20 thing that I thrifted that's horrible quality. Ooh, no one's going to be able to really enjoy that. I don't enjoy it right now, so I should get rid of it. But it has really changed how I think about what I incorporate into my closet next, because it makes me focus on and acquire things that can be of higher value.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part of it. And we get this feedback. People are like, Pickle has the best stuff, the coolest pieces. And it's because things that you want to share are things that you want to keep for yourself as well. And they're going to be items that other people enjoy and love. And it's very different than the clean out your closet mantra. It's because you should clean out your closet and donate your items, but those aren't the items that you would want to potentially monetize or share with your friends. When a friend is coming over to shop in your closet, they're going to pick the coolest pieces, the things that are up to date that you might have invested in. And that's the same with the community. And now you have access to these pieces for a fraction of the retail price. That's how I wear all of my cool pieces. And then for my own personal closet, I have a lot of staples that aren't super fashionable. People are like, you're a fashion tech founder.
Such an unrealistic expectation though, right? Actually, so in one of my previous podcast episodes, I wouldn't say she's a competitor. She's in the luxury rental space, but in a very different way. She owns all the inventory and then rents it out, as opposed to peer-to-peer, not competition. But we were talking about changing this consumer behavior in that what should be rented and what should be a staple in your closet. And it doesn't really make sense to rent staples. This is why I've never been attracted to Rent the Runway, for example, because they have a lot of like Alice and Olivia blazers and things like that, which I get from their perspective why they would want to do that. Like, oh, if people have to wear this every day, then like that means more revenue for us. But from a customer perspective, why would I want to rent boring clothes? And when I go on Pickle and I see these like fabulous dresses that I can wear to my friend's wedding, that's great value proposition to me. I think that should be the norm, that you own the basics and the staples that you're going to wear every day, that you're going to have to wash a lot and invest some money into some good ones, and be able to save some money on the things that are really special that you know you're only going to wear and have the opportunity to wear it once or twice in your life.
Right. No, it is a really interesting balance. And it's, for all these different occasions. And that's an interesting part about the influencers too, because they have so many events and occasions that what I think speaks really highly to the items that are on Pickle, or they're using it too to rent pieces. They are monetizing their closets, and then they're seeing beautiful sets or, an Arsina Ori dress that has been sold out online that they want to rent, and they're renting it on Pickle. And it's pretty cool to see these people that have a lot of access to different pieces of clothing using Pickle as their solution for a really cool piece that they might not have access to elsewhere.
I think this part is obvious, but I do think we should shout it out because I've gotten some questions about this from some people before, but I'm guessing that you guys have some kind of damage protection or insurance when it comes to it getting lost in shipping, or it coming back with stains or repairs or rips that need to happen. How do you offer that assurance to customers that these special pieces that they've invested in, that they've entrusted to the community, comes back the way that they expected?
Absolutely. There's a few different things that we do on the app. One of them is our pickle protection guarantee, and that's our policy that we put in place to protect both sides of the marketplace, people that are renting out their pieces and people that are renting. So if you rent something from somebody, you are guaranteed that that item is going to be clean, ready to wear, and as described. So if the listing said that it was a size extra small and it arrives as a medium, you'd be able to get a full refund and it will go back to the owner. You'll be refunded that cost. For owners, of course, protecting them, incredibly important. And renters are liable for any damages that would incur during their rental period. So if they are to accidentally damage something, or there might be a minor tear, and that if there are any damages, that's what it typically is. It's some sort of little accident or something that can be fixed, which is great. They'll pay for those costs up to 5 times the rental price in damage repairs. If they were to fully lose an item, they do pay the full retail price, and that is just part of our policy. We have an amazing customer support team to help between any of these types of cases that do arise. But a big factor of the marketplace is the trust amongst the community. What's cool is, one, our owners are in full control of their closet. So just because they list something doesn't mean they have to rent it out to just anyone. They get an offer for that item and they're able to accept, decline, or potentially counter that offer. And that's where they will go and look at some of the reviews of the renter. So if it's a super special piece and they're like, I really want to make sure this person has rented before, they can check out their reviews, seeing how many times they've rented before. They can message on the app, which a lot of people do when they're saying, oh, I really want to wear this to my birthday party or whatever it is. If maybe it's their first rental, there will be some interactions that as well. But the
just
Airbnb
make sure not to throw
system,
up on it.
Yeah, none of that, or you better clean that.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for sharing a bit about that, because I think when it comes to monetizing your closet and opening it up to other people, that's probably one of the biggest concerns that an owner would have. But yeah, as I expected, you guys have some kind of
pickle protection policy, and you know, it's the Airbnb review system. You know, that's how it works. So if you're not treating items well, one, you're gonna have to pay for that, and two, you're not gonna be able to rent from other people because they won't accept your offers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Really makes sense. Speaking of exciting fashion events, something that I thought that was really cool that you guys did is you guys opened up a physical store.
Yes.
Right before the holidays.
Yes, we did. We just crossed over our first month of having the store open, which is super exciting. If anyone wants to check it out, it is in the West Village on 21 8th Ave. It's a great little boutique type store that you look at, but it has green doors and it's really cute white and green striped awning. And the store was really exciting to open. It was an awesome location. One, there are a ton of local people in New York that are in the West Village that are looking for last minute outfits and that convenience factor and everything. But we see the store as a great marketing channel and community building opportunity, as a place where people can come and get a real feel for the platform and for our company and our brand. And it's interesting to see the different types of people that are coming into the store. There's people that are already avid pickle users and they are there for their last minute outfit, and they're going to go and use our big changing room that we have that can fit friends in it, so you can try on together.
That's a big green flag.
We made it really big, so 4 girls will go back there and try on stuff together in the big mirror. It's really fun. But people come in and they might have that immediate use case ready to go. And then there's people that are in because they see some beautiful pieces and they're like, what is this? And it's a great way for us to talk about our brand and the value prop and what we're working on. And that's cool because it's a different type of feedback that you get from people that are coming across you on the street versus actively choosing to download your app. They've crossed a certain barrier. People at the store might not have heard about us yet. So it's great. We're unlocking some new feedback from people that might have different questions and people that have already chosen to download the app. So that's been incredibly valuable. And then we are doing different activations and partnerships at the store. So if there's a collaborative brand that we can work with, and we're like, we can put some of your samples in all of the rental bags, for example, or doing little pop-ups in there. It's a really great community building tactic. And at the end of the day, it's very supplemental to our larger focus on the app itself, because we have a minor, fraction of the inventory in the store. And it's sourced from people in the community, and that's the coolest part. When people come in, they're like, what is this? And we talk about being a rental app. We talk specifically about being peer-to-peer and how we've sourced everything that's in the store from women around the city.
That's actually that leads me to a question. Well, usually on Pickle, right, you have it in your own closet and you ship it to somebody else through local courier. Is this kind of a curated selection that lives at the store and gets shipped in and out of the store?
Yes, we have a combination of some permanent closets, and then we have some spots for rotating inventory come in and out. So we have some of the influencer and creator partners that we have did give some of their clothes, and those live in the store. We did not buy them from them. They are their clothes. They will come in and grab something. Kikina the other day came in and picked up one of her Ronnie Kobo dresses and was wearing it for an event that night. Like, great, shop your own closet, right? Of course. But that's, a select amount of inventory with some of these partners that have brought in. But then we've also been working on different curations. So we have been working with different power owners and users on Pickle for people that might have, right before New Year's Eve, we had a strong need for all of these sparkly sequins dresses. So we helped specifically source that a bit. So there was a larger collection in the store. Right now is, ski season. So a lot of people are looking for that. And we actually just started a collaboration or a partnership with Cynthia Rowley. They in the closet. So you can now rent Cynthia Rowley ski pieces and Apri ski pieces on Pickle, which is really cool.
I'm going to have to check out the store before my trip then.
Yes, you definitely should for your ski trip. Absolutely.
Well, thanks for telling us a little bit about what you guys were up to last year. That leads me to my next question, which is what are you manifesting for Pickle in 2024?
Great question. A lot of different things. We have set some really aggressive business goals, and we're working on scaling in New York City, and we have some expansion in different cities. LA, that's kind of our number 2 right now. And then to put out feelers across other cities, because we'll see some organic demand pop up from people that are adopting the app outside of New York, which is really cool. So again, we just lean into that data, see where people are already using Pickle, and then that gives us a lot of insight and conviction behind expansion. So that's really the business side. But, personally around Pickle, I have some dream people that I'd love to be seeing using the platform. So I talked about how people use inspiration from celebrities in our new AI feature that we've rolled out. So, manifesting that maybe Hailey Bieber would start using Pickle. That would be really cool. Maybe more attainable would be Alex Earl. That would be really cool. I mean, she already generates demand for the platform. So people will use some of her UGC, her Instagram photos. And when, there was this stunning gold Nadine Marabi dress that she wore last year, and it was sold out everywhere online, and then everybody who already had it in their closet was uploading it, and they were using some of her photos from Instagram as seen on Alex Earl.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah. How do we get her closet up here?
Any other plugs you want to make before we end our episode today?
Last plug, I guess 2 plugs. One would be this podcast is your sign to start your side hustle. And your New Year's resolution, if you had an expensive holiday season, you can make some money off your pieces. So I'll plug that side of it, starting a new side hustle. And then, of course, if you haven't actually checked out our community or our app, please feel free to download the app. It's in the App Store. And then if you want to check out our socials and what our creative team is working on, you can follow us at Shop on Pickle on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but something else that I've talked about on this podcast before is being a financially sustainable fashion girly. And I love that the plug around it being the new year, it being the year for you to make some more financially smart decisions around fashion. So yeah, I really appreciate you giving that shout out. And I think it's very aligned to the values that I and my audience has.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being on this podcast.
So fun. I love it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Hailey Bieber or Alex Earl on Pickle in
shout
2024.
out. I'm sure they're watching. So.